Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, economy, and development in Nigeria and around the world. Recently, there has been a big debate in Nigeria on whether or not to impose death penalty for drug trafficking or drug distribution or drug making and for corruption. Now, the issue about the corruption came along because the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria recently passed a bill requesting that bill is a bill that imposed death penalty for drug trafficking, drug production or trafficking, or even drug distribution. Now, that bill, since it was passed by the Senate and is now waiting for concurrence by the House of Representatives before it's going to be sent to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his signature or for his assent, has spurred a kind of debate whether that should be the priority of the Senate or the National Assembly, death penalty for drugs. This is because those who are looking at this, they are asking, this drug issue, is it a major problem facing Nigeria now that require death penalty as a solution to it, or corruption? Because death penalty for corruption, many people have said that would make more sense than death penalty for drugs that the Senate has passed into law. Now, one of the proponents of death penalty for drugs or for drug production and distribution is the chief whip of the Senate, Senator Ali Ndume. Now, Ali Ndume was confronted by Nigerians, at least by the anchor, who reminded him that Nigerians were talking about that it would make more sense if there is death penalty on corruption than on drugs, or at best that all of them should get the consequences of death penalty. That's if you are corrupt, if you are found in corrupt action or in corruption, you have been convicted for corruption, you go death penalty, you face it. If you are convicted for drug trafficking, you face death penalty. So when he was confronted with this, what Ali Ndume said will make you laugh and also make you cry for this country. When you hear what he said, especially when he said that he will support death penalty for corruption, but only for death penalty to be for death penalty to be meted out to you if you are a corrupt leader. You must steal at least, you must steal trillions of naira. You are not to be killed if you steal only 1 billion, 1 million. Say that shouldn't require death penalty. But we're going to get into that. But before we dive into that, if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. Now, the chief whip of the Senate, Ali Ndume, has explained the difference between corruption by politicians and other people. Now, I even found this distinction amusing. Who are the other people? The most corrupt people in Nigeria are politicians. And according to a recent report by even the Anti-Corruption Agency, the centers of corruption in Nigeria include the presidency, the state houses of assembly, the state government houses across the country. Those are seen as the epicenters of corruption. When you hear that Nigeria is a corrupt country, it revolves largely around government, ministries, parastatals, state houses of assembly, government houses, presidency. Those are the epicenters of corruption, well documented by Transparency International and others who have taken their time to study corruption issue in Nigeria and around the world. So for him now to say that for them to be even differentiating between corruption by politicians and other people, the bulk of the corruption in Nigeria are being perpetrated by those in government. It was also similar to during the military. The bulk of the corruption which was exposed after Abacha died, you see that it revolves around Abacha and his presidency at that time, or military head of military commission, whatever they are called at that time. Those were where the center of corruption took place. And then these days we are now talking about the central bank, because these days you always hear when a central bank governor is removed, you hear all kinds of stories, especially when it is removed by a political party or a government that is not happy with that central bank governor. You hear all kinds of corruption. So this distinction that Ndume is making doesn't really hold water, saying that there is a difference between corruption by politicians and other people. Of course, I know there are corruption, but that is at a lower level, other kind of corruption. Now, the senator admitted that steal and share is admitted that politicians steal and share with the people. He stated this when he featured on Channels Television Politics Today, while speaking on the death penalty as a deterrent for those caught with drugs. He said when politicians corruption is compared to others, the politicians' corruption is a small one. I do not agree with him. The politicians are the major culprits in corruption. Their own is not the small one. Then he went on to state, he said, if you compare us politicians to all the corruption, it is very small. Our corruption is people driven. If you steal, it will go. If you steal it, you will go and share it with the people. If you don't, you are not coming back for 4 years. And he then went on to say there is no reason for stealing. What he said that the corruption being done by politicians is corruption with a human face, literally. That when they steal, they share part of this loot with the people. Maybe what he meant was that they use it in buying votes. Because basically that's what the politicians do. They don't use it to better the life of the people. They use it during the election to buy the vote. He said if you don't share it, won't come back for 4 years. So what it means to me, that's admission of that they use it to buy vote. Because what other thing are they providing? Most of the time is during the election that some people see their senators or those who want to be senators, House of Reps members, governors, and what have you. He went on to say, he said, I have been in the National Assembly, I have been to the National Assembly. I can't say because we are on TV now and not tell the truth. If the death penalty is supposed to be included in corruption, I will support it. But you don't go and kill someone that stole 1 million or 1 billion. No. But someone who steal 1 trillion of government money should be killed. Have you seen how he graded it? That those who stole 1 million, 1 billion are not entitled to be killed. But unless you steal up to 1 trillion, then in that case, if you steal up to 1 trillion, he is now equalizing you with the drug dealers. You can then be qualified to be sentenced to death. And he now went on to say that the death penalty is the best deterrent for those being caught for drugs. He said, if you do drugs, you are killing people. In fact, that means you have destroyed the lives of so many people and killed so many people, he said. But now I will show you that politicians who steal are even killing more people than those who peddle drugs and those who manufacture illicit drugs. Now, he is making it appear as stealing 1 billion is a small thing. By the time you keep on stealing 1 billion, in fact, those who are even the people in a position to steal 1 trillion, for you to steal trillion, you must belong to the highest echelon of governance in Nigeria. But so many money that are being stolen are in the billions. That is the democratized corruption. The billions, the governors, the lawmakers, the what have you, they steal in billions. So those the economy, if you steal 500 billion, 200 billion, 700 billion, you are not supposed to die. It's those who stole in trillions. But let me show that those who are corrupt, the corrupt leaders, cause more death than the drug addicts or those who than those who peddle on drugs. Because he was talking about that the reason why those who deal on drugs should be killed is because they destroy life and they cause death of people. We know there have been allegations that politicians are behind the insecurity in the country. We have had instances where politicians are accused, or those in government are accused of diversion of money meant for the war against the insurgency. Now, if politicians steal the money that's supposed to be spent to provide equipment for the military to fight insurgents, and the insurgents kill 63,111 Nigerians, like happened in 8 years of President Muhammad Buhari. It means that it is the politicians that caused the death of these 63,111 Nigerians. Those who stole the money that ought to be used to buy equipment and pocketed it. Now, even if you discount that, the politicians who are elected people, their first responsibility is protection of life and property. Now, if any government failed to protect life and property, and some of the reasons for that was because the money meant to take care of the welfare of the soldiers were stolen along the value chain, it means that they have caused the death of so many Nigerians that were killed as a result of that, their action. If a politicians who appropriated roads in the budget, both the National Assembly members, both the executive, and they awarded contracts, and the contract was not executed, and they were there, they do oversight, and that road that was not properly built or was not even built at all, as a result of that corruption, thousands of Nigerians are dying on the highway. I can tell you for free that more Nigerians die on the highway because of accident than those who die as a result of drugs. Because these drugs they are talking about are those who are dealing on heroin and cocaine. And you can bet only the children of the elite can afford the luxury of taking heroin and cocaine. I doubt if any struggling Nigerian from poor families will ever dream of going to those high profile drugs to be taking them. Those who can afford it are the rich folk and their children. So, in other words, you will discover that the politicians cause more debt than even those that they are accusing of distributing drugs, because the politicians are the reason why the hospitals are not working. Millions of Nigerians die every year because of lack of access to healthcare, but budgets are made to provide all those hospitals, to provide all the drugs, but you can't see them. So these politicians cause more debt than the drug dealers. That is the truth. They are the ones that cause more debt in Nigeria through lack of proper supervision of our health system, and the ensuring that there is enough security in the country, ensuring that the roads are good, all the infrastructure that have decayed, all the things that aid in crime in Nigeria are caused by them. For example, when the lawmakers, as a result of their greed, cause a situation where there are no jobs for people to do, these people resort to crime. All those people that are killed, all those people killed as a result of criminality, it is the fault of the politician, because they didn't provide jobs for the youths. The jobs that are supposed to be for the youths were pocketed by the politicians. So the politicians are the reason why that there are no jobs. They are the reason why we have criminalities everywhere. So they cause more debt in this country than those who sell cocaine or who distribute cocaine or heroin. Therefore, they are even far more in a position to face death penalty. Death penalty for politicians will be much more appropriate, will help the country far more than the drug dealers. Of course, the drug dealers, they have their own issue. This doesn't mean that I myself, I'm supporting death penalty, no. But I'm saying that if there should be death penalty, if at all there is a need for death penalty, the death penalty should be for leaders, politicians, because they cause more death in Nigeria than any other people. They cause more deaths in Nigeria than the drug dealers. They cause that Nigeria today look like an open prison is because of the politicians, because of their greed. Many people die every day in this country because they don't have access to drug, because the politicians in their corruption has pocketed whatever money that could be available to provide welfare for the people. So they are the ones that deserve death penalty. In fact, I can even take it further to tell you that those you see dealing on drugs is because of the fault of the politicians. The politicians have blocked everywhere that people can earn decent living in Nigeria with their corruption. So many of the young men coming up, they see life as no hope. They go to every ministry. Only those who have backup letters from senators, House of Reps members, governors, local government chairmen, party chairmen. Only those who have written notes from them can have access to jobs in government. The rest are on their own. And these people, because of what the government have done to them, because of the corruption by the government, because of the corruption by politicians in government, these people have now seen that there is no other way for them to survive. Some of them who cannot take it, they become criminally minded and say, okay, let them go and be dealing on drugs to be supplying to the children of the rich so that they can get more, because only the children of the rich can afford the kind of drugs they are talking about. They are talking about cocaine, heroin, and all that. You can't see the son of a peasant farmer, the son of a shoemaker, who go into that kind of lifestyle. That, how can he sustain it? So they are the ones that drive many young men to go into drug trafficking. Because if there are jobs for them, they won't go into drug trafficking. Even if you look at other societies, most of the drug use in America, or drug distribution or peddling, is dominant in marginalized communities, the black communities, the Latino communities, the Caribbean communities in the United States. The marginalized. So the same thing is happening in Nigeria. Those who are pushed to go into drugs, into drug production, distribution, whatever, they are put in that condition by the corrupt politicians. That is why, if there is any group that need to face death penalty, is the politicians and not the drug dealers. The drug dealers can be handled, and of course, even the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, they have also waded into the matter and raised their own opposition to death penalty for drug offenders in Nigeria. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime has urged the House of Representatives to vote down the proposed death penalty for drug offenders. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime further slammed the National Assembly over the proposal for death penalty for drug offenders, saying the bill made no sense. The United Nations Office on Drug and Crime representative in Nigeria, Oliver Stubb, made the call in Abuja during the 2024 media personnel training on anti-corruption, police accountability, wildlife crime, and sensitization on drugs and drug prevention, treatment, and care that took place in Abuja recently. So the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, they are even against the death penalty for drug offenders, which the Senate passed, and they have called on the House of Reps to ensure that that thing doesn't get passed in the National Assembly. So that is it. Myself, my attitude to it is that whatever is decided, if we are talking about death penalty, the death penalty is far more important for it to be imposed against corrupt leaders, corrupt politicians, than against those who deal in drugs. Those who deal in drugs can be easily handled, but the problem we have in the country is caused by corruption, and those who perpetrate this corruption are politicians who are in government. Now let us look at countries that have death penalty. We have about 10 countries that have death penalty for corruption. Number one is China, North Korea, Iraq, Iran, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Myanmar, Morocco, Indonesia. And this is interesting to note that these countries that have death penalty for corruption also have death penalty for drugs. All these countries, if you are in China, you are caught in drug distribution, you face death penalty. If you are a politician, you stole money, public's money, death penalty. Okay, so if the National Assembly is truly sincere in imposing death penalty for drug offenders, they should go the whole hog like other countries that has death penalty. They should ensure that the death penalty, for fairness, if they are sincere, they want this country to be good, the death penalty should be holistic, both for corruption and drug peddling or drug offending, or for drug offenders, those who are caught in corruption, those who are caught in drug trafficking, let all of them face the death penalty. Then it will make sense. Right now, people interpret what they did as being selfish because they felt that those who are into this drug distribution production, they are the poor people. So they want to get rid of them. But they themselves, those of them who are in authority, if a government official steals, nothing will happen to him. But the stealing of the politicians have caused more deaths than the number of those who died through drugs. In fact, it is the actions of politicians that have driven many people to go into drugs. So, if we are to be sincere to ourselves, then there should be death penalty for corruption, just as for drug peddlers. So the National Assembly should do the needful. They cannot copy one side of the death penalty just for drugs. All the countries in the world where you have death penalty for drugs, they also have death penalty for corruption. Yes, we have mentioned about 10 of them here. So they should do the needful. But however, I'm on the side of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, that their death penalty has not been able to solve any problem of crime anywhere in the world. That is why the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime is opposing it. And they have also warned in NDLEA that is pushing that agenda, that NDLEA will no longer get collaboration with other nations of the world if this law is passed. But my own is that if it must be passed, it should be holistic. Death penalty for corruption and drug offense, so that there will be fairness in the whole arrangement. Thank you for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.